Oh, hi.
Good morning.
Okay, what newsy news, what business stuff do we need to cover? Do we need to cover any business stuff on this, Megan?
Well, we mentioned our trip last week, so we don't need to pitch that again.
Okay, so you guys don't have to hear about our trip.
You should come, but we're going to save you from hearing about it, how awesome it is, because we're just going to start making people feel bad that they can't come.
Uh-huh. Yeah, uh-huh.
I do have to point out that if you listen to last week's episode, oh no, was that 2 weeks ago?
Mom's
If you,
was 2 weeks ago.
if you listened to 2 weeks ago, Jen was very confident that she was going to shout out the person's name who we were talking about at the beginning of that episode. And I hope you all enjoyed our little cover up situation. And if you have not listened, you really should because it's hilarious.
Well, and I feel like now John Smith is just going to be our coverall for all of except for I was also you like name dropped a couple of other people, or I think a couple other names from high school came up and we said their full names.
Yeah, but we weren't talking about them like we were talking about this person.
We weren't, but we were calling them ugly.
I don't think we ever explicitly said that, but now you did.
Okay, sorry. Anywho, so just covering our butts here. Oh, what a segue into our guest today.
I am so excited about our guest. We have started bringing people on that are just a little bit, unique.
Yeah, and I'm really into it. I'm really excited about it. So, very excited to bring on Rachel Duggan, who is an illustrator and published author. And her company is called Rad Illustrates.
Welcome.
Thank you.
I nailed it. I nailed it. No, we are so excited to have you here because getting right down to it, what caught our eye about Rachel is she specifically illustrates people's butts at events.
Yes. Weddings.
I
mean, other events too, but I think it's harder to believe sometime that this happens at people's weddings. It's just so different.
Yeah. Okay. I like that.
Yeah. So we are into origin stories.
Mm-hmm.
And we would like you to start from the very beginning. I mean, not like it was a cold day in December and your mom went into labor type of a thing, but when did you discover your creativity, your artistic talents, and what got you to drawing butts?
Yes. Are you a psychic? Because I was born in December. So
are you a Sagittarius or are you what's the other? Capricorn. Nice.
Yes. Born December 24th, Christmas Eve, baby.
How do you feel about that?
I don't like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a huge. I like Christmas just fine. I'm a Halloween person, but having your birthday butted up to Christmas, pun intended.
That was a good pun. Yeah.
Is a bummer. It's hard to want to do whatever you want to do, and sometimes I just want to do something. So take a trip or and then you hurt everybody's feelings because of the holiday. But I don't know. Yeah, it's a complicated time to have a birthday.
Yeah.
Okay, origin story. So I grew up doing a lot of doodling. I just always was into drawing. I went to art school in Chicago. I did not know exactly what I wanted to do. I just knew that I liked being creative and I enjoyed drawing, but I didn't really see a career in that until the very end of college. I got into an illustration, senior level illustration class through begging a professor because I had no prereqs, and it all just clicked for me. And I was able to take a couple classes before I left that felt actually like what I should be doing. And after that, this was during the recession. I was like, oh my God, I have to get a job. I need insurance. I have so much debt from going to school. So I worked regular quote unquote jobs, but then I was moonlighting as an illustrator.
Another pun. Yeah. You are so good. Okay. Sorry. Keep going.
I just started doing pop-ups, and I had my merch available. Like I was like making prints and stickers and buttons and stuff. But then I also thought, I want to draw on the spot. Maybe that could be like another way to attract people to what I'm doing. And so I had a portrait menu, and butts. I threw that up there as like just totally random, did not think anything of it, including like paranormal portraits. I did butt portraits. Like I did some weird stuff. And then honestly, drawing butts, like people wanted that, one. And then two, it was so much easier to draw than trying to capture like the essence of someone's appearance while they're staring at you, and then give it a twist of like a supernatural spin. Like, so it just really was like other people clued me in on to like, this is what I should be doing. And I just, from there, was like, this is what I'm going to offer at events.
Yeah.
Yeah. I say that all the time when I'm talking to other entrepreneurs. Like when you create something, so it's like, okay, you create a business, or you're like, here's what I'm going to do. The business is going to tell you also what it's going to do. You know, it really becomes a relationship where you're like, oh, I put butts up as a joke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then your company's like, no.
Like, this is my company now. Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I don't know. Like, I didn't know what I was doing, and I just was trying things and seeing what stuck. And I didn't in a million years imagine that people would want to pay money to have me draw their butt or be like into that. Like, honestly, if I did that one or two events, like, and I got a bad response, I probably would have just never done it again. But because people were like laughing about it, asking questions, and then that sort of spiraled into like later on, someone was like, would you do this at a wedding? Would you do this at a fundraiser? Would you do this at this gala, this event? And then I was like, sure. Like, you want that? I'll do it.
People are always looking for different and unique things to bring
Yeah.
into this space. So the first time that you were asked to go and do specifically butts at a wedding, were you nervous about the like how it was going to go?
Yeah, totally. I mean, the first person to hire me for a wedding was actually a previous coworker who I worked at like an environmental policy nonprofit.
So on brand.
And I was, doing the weirdest stuff, when I wasn't there, and then I'd go there and be like, I'm a real person doing like important things or whatever. And she was like, we're getting married on this day. Would you do it? We have this much money. And I was like, okay. And yeah, I mean, I was super nervous because weddings are kind of just like intense. They're big, everything. It's very loaded. Even the most casual of weddings, you don't want anything to go wrong. You want everything to go smoothly. You want everyone to be happy. And so maybe it helped that I knew her.
Yeah.
It put me a little bit at ease because I was like, well, I like her, so I'm probably going to like her family and her friends. But yeah, and then you just like, weddings also have like totally different environments. Every one you go to, different lighting, like different space, different guests.
Right.
So you can plan for a lot of stuff, and like you're probably still going to have a little like, oh, workshop. We got to workshop this. Like, where do I go? What do I do?
Weddings are an unperfectible art.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so speaking of weddings, you've done a lot of weddings. We love to put our guests on the spot and ask them to share a pet peeve of weddings.
Yeah.
And it can be vendor related, client related, whatever it is. But like, this is the place where we want you to feel free to air your grievances.
How much time you got? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, exactly.
I have like a few come to mind.
And we're open to hearing more than one.
Yeah.
Okay. I think the biggest pet peeve I have is having people, like, this sounds so like silly, but like people like bumping my table while I'm drawing. And it's kind of hard because people are like drinking, they're having a good time. Like the later in the night it goes, the more bumping happens.
Sure.
And it's like I'm drawing in ink. And so a simple mistake of like people kind of being a little like sloppy can really mess something up for me. I had like a 180-pound drunken male fall on my table, like collapse, like too rowdy, really scary. And it like scared the bejesus out of me because I'm really focused. Like I try not to pay attention to anything because otherwise I'm overly stimulated and I can't perform, for like lack of a better term. But like having people just not really respect my space as like an artist who's being paid to just be there and to perform a task. I'm like constantly bombarded by like interactions and things that sometimes can like border uncomfortable, inappropriate, like harassment, or like the physical, like touching, falling, bumping, spilling.
Yeah.
I try to be like, this is my like bubble, please, like stand over here, make the line this way. But I can like roll with it most of the time. But yeah, there have been moments that are really overwhelming, potentially dangerous, that like, what am I going to do? Like, there's not a whole lot I can do.
Yeah, Megan and I complain about guests a lot, and we kind of sometimes wish weddings involved no guests.
Well, and I think it would be really hard with something like what you are doing there, because you're adding a little, humor even to the day. It's a little lightness, right? And so people come over and they're probably laughing about it and having fun with it, as opposed to the more serious elements of a wedding. And when you're in that more jovial mindset, I think it's easy to forget that you are doing something that, takes focus and talent and can't be just bumped around while you're doing it.
Yeah, and I feel like that kind of segues into dudes.
Yes, they are the worst. Aren't dudes the worst? Oh God.
Yeah, I've definitely had like a lot of guys, like older guys, younger guys, you name it, saying the same jokes, like unzipping your pants in my face.
Ew.
Eye level. So it's like, guys, this is a legitimate thing. I get that it might be mind-blowing for people, especially like normies or something that are coming to this wedding and they're just like, what on earth is this? This is your job. And I get it, but like, please don't unzip your pants and undo your belt in my face and make like a joke while I'm working, like,
or ever.
Yes.
Or ever. Yeah. Like the brazenness. I've had like a guy come up to me at a very busy wedding and he got down on my table, kind of like elbows, like taking up space at my table, and then say to me, "Who let you in?"
What?
Insulting me. And I was like, I was paid, like kind of insinuating that like I'm just some like riffraff off the street.
You're like a performing beggar.
Yeah, and I'm like, get the hell away. Like, like I try to be as like cool, calm, and collected and even just like ignore a lot of things. But like, yeah, in the space, getting too like crossing boundaries, clearly they can see it's legitimate. I have like a ton of signage examples.
Yeah.
I have a station. I'm like professional.
Nobody's naked.
Yeah, I do little kids. I do families. I do older, like seniors, like everybody in the mix. And so, yeah, it can just be depending on the group, which most of the time I don't know anything about the couple other than the venue. Like I don't know anything. And so it's a big wild card of what the guests will be like and how people will respond in real time. And unfortunately, I mean, I'm sure it's like, look at the world today. Like people don't really have a filter. People don't consider what they're saying or doing a lot of the time and how it can come off. And it's always the same thing. Or they'll be like, I want this job. And they'll stand and they'll talk about people's butts as I'm drawing them, like mostly women, young women, and being like, well, that was a good one.
Ew.
Oh my God.
And I have to be like, scram, get out.
Yeah.
Are you drinking while you're doing this at weddings?
Me? No, I don't.
I would need a cocktail.
I have to be like hyper focused in my line art. Like
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't eat, I don't drink. I have water. Like I pretty much am like, try to control all of the controllables, you know?
Yeah.
Exactly.
So if somebody were to hire you for their wedding, what can they expect? So like you come in, it sounds like you need a table and somewhere with light, or maybe you bring a light, I don't know, but about how many people do you typically get through over the course of a wedding?
We need butts per hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The venue provides me with a table and chair. I do that so I'm not like schlepping stuff in and out during the event, because I'm usually there for only 2 or 3 hours max because I work so fast. And so I usually gauge how long I will be there based on estimated guest count.
When is is this like a cocktail hour, or do you prefer like dance floor? When is the best time to do this?
It's so tricky because I tend to tell people to not have me on site when they want people paying attention to stuff that's happening, because I have got not in trouble, but I've had like planners being like, stop drawing, and like, hey, people in line, get out of here. And I totally get it, but I'm like, they had me here at this time slot.
Yeah.
And I tried to be very like, hey, you booked me, you picked the time, I start here and I stop here. Because sometimes then if there's all this other stuff happening, they want me to stay after, but I'm like, you paid me to draw from here to here.
Yeah. This sounds
Right.
like the planner's fault for not evaluating the timeline and figuring out when you should have been there, to be honest.
Yeah. So I usually tell people like, you pick the time, but have me draw when like guests can be like freely roaming, doing their thing, having fun, and you're not like, hey, hello, you need to come here and watch the speech.
Right.
You need to pay attention to this specific
Yeah.
dance. Like, so, but then there is the risk of like, the later in the night it goes, usually the wilder it gets. And, sometimes that's more of like for me to manage. But yeah, I draw like anywhere, depending on the size of the wedding, like 50 to like maybe 75 butts per hour. And then for like 2 or 3 hours, like it really just depends. I think the most I've ever drawn at a wedding was like maybe like 165 butts in like a 2 or 3 hour time.
That's a lot of asses.
Yes, it is. I keep it moving because like nobody really wants to be standing for 20 minutes being drawn, like having their butt drawn. You want to move on to the next thing. And
Right.
so I've been doing butt portraits for like 10 years. Like I can do it almost with my eyes closed. Like not, I just like, it's like a science of line work. Like it's very simple. So
Right.
I try to keep it to a minute and a half max per butt, depending on the level of detail. Like if you have a pattern or you have arms, like people who do like the arms on either side, like
Yeah.
arms and like adds complexity.
Yeah.
It's just it's science.
When you draw my butt today, I'm gonna have a hand on my butt.
Okay.
You're making it more complicated for her.
Oh, sorry.
No,
sorry.
you're not going to have a hand on your butt. You're just going to stand there.
Okay. Megan said no. Go figure. Okay, so table and chair, venue, lighting. Do you bring lighting or do we provide lighting or does the client?
A little bit of both. If I'm doing a bar wedding, I usually bring an extension cord and a light. If I'm at a venue, I just tell people like basically put me in a well-lit area to the best of your ability. So yeah, it's a little bit of a mix. I would say like bars are the hardest just because they usually get tucked in like the darkest corner. And usually bars are dark so you can, enjoy that ambiance, but
yeah, it's so our butts look extra good. That's why we in the dark exactly.
Yeah.
And then do you obviously you get the bride and grooms, you get their asses and then they get that, that's theirs to take home and frame and keep forever.
And is it like a little 5x7, 4x6?
It's 4x6. Yeah, I have like nice. So it's like super easy to frame up, and it's like heavy cardstock paper. And then I have protective sleeves. I put them in because most people have drinks in their hand, wet fingertips, like the ink will smear. So yeah, and I put like my business card in there too.
Yeah. I love a seasoned professional. I mean, let's be honest, we all have learned the hard way. Like when someone probably came back to you 10 times because their butt smeared and then you have to draw the same butt again. You were like, I am done drawing your ass. Now you get a sleeve.
Yeah, I feel like I used to do it much more low budge, even though it's not like a super luxury, like whatever. But yeah, I've just kind of like perfected what I can on my end to ensure that it lasts the night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And gets home with people safely. And sometimes the brides or bride and groom or grooms, they'll do the fast pass. I'm always like, you cut the line. Like,
Oh, yeah. House cup.
Yeah.
yeah, you get to come up. But I've had people who were too drunk and too dancy to even come. And sometimes they just like send me a picture after, and I do that for them as like a courtesy. But yeah, usually a lot of people.
Booking wise, if somebody was interested in hiring you, how far in advance do you typically book, or like should people usually start looking the year prior if they're looking to book you for the next year?
Yeah, it's sort of always changing because I always think next year I might not even be drawing butts at weddings. Like, I don't know. Like, like every year's a little different. And like sometimes I'm like, uh-oh, like I haven't had any requests for this, but then, so sometimes people will like I get contacted now for stuff in August, and I'm thinking in like other states, and I'm like, I can't do that.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Do you travel a lot for this?
I do, yes, yeah.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
But it's hard. It's like if it's a local wedding, it's so much easier to navigate, price out. But when people in other states, I gotta like really think about how much time it's going to take, and the travel components, and navigating the cost of everything right now is like going up astronomically at every moment. So yeah, but I do travel. I've done like obviously Milwaukee, I live here. I do Chicago a lot. I do Minneapolis, St. Louis, and then I'm doing LA in November.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Fun.
yeah. So, and I've done like including the metro areas or like suburban sprawl of pretty much all of those locations too.
Yeah.
I am all about manifestation, and I'm making Megan get into it too. I'm also trying to get her into astrology. What is something, either a place you would love to draw butts, or a two-part question. Have you drawn famous butts? Part A. Part B, back to the manifestation question. Is there a place, a person, something you just want to manifest in this world?
I feel like, yeah, when you ask if I've drawn famous butts, I've definitely drawn butts of people who are in the industry, but I don't necessarily know who they are until afterwards. Like, maybe it was, 2 years ago, someone who lives in LA, but they're from Milwaukee, came back and had their wedding. And so almost all their guests were from LA. And afterwards, they were sharing pictures of the butts that I drew with them. And then I tagged me. So then I was like, oh, this person's like on IMDb. They're on like these random shows. Not necessarily anyone that I was like, whoa, I drew blah, 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 but still like in the industry, which is always cool. And I have a feeling this one in November that I'm doing is going to have some actor, because I think at least the bride works in the industry as an actor or in like theater and TV show related stuff.
I feel like you and I have similar clients because I never know when somebody is famous. And I joke that I do C and D list celebrity weddings, but I don't realize it. Like I have no clue who they are, and then I book them and I'm talking about them, and my friend's like, "Do you know that he invented this game?" And I'm like, "No." So we have like the same clientele. It's like
and I've had like Catherine Cohen, who's like a comedian, very funny. She like hired me to draw her dad's dog, which not a butt, but I got that order and that was cool because I love her special on Netflix, and I thought I think she's hilarious. And like a producer from Barry, Amy Solomon, I've done a lot of work for her books, and then but not necessarily butts. Like I've drawn her dogs. And
well, today you're gonna draw our butts, and we'll be famous, obviously, one day, and then you can be like, "Oh, I knew their butts when."
Yeah,
you know.
So besides the butts, you do pets. Right?
Yes, I do like traditional portraits. I don't do those on the spot because it takes significantly longer to like make those look accurate and good.
Yeah.
And so I do like houses, people, pets, memorial portraits. I do like save the date drawings, thank yous, invites.
I'm glad to know that. That's really cool.
That's just like a cool way to like be incorporated into a wedding sometimes when I can't be there drawing butts. Like sometimes people will be like, "We're going to have a menu. Could you do like design like little illustrations for this?" Or "My mom's no longer here. I want to have like a drawing of her in honor." And so I've done some things like that too, which it's just like another way to incorporate illustration in your wedding.
Very cool.
That's really cool. Megan hijacked my question. Part B, she got embarrassed because I was talking about our butts being famous. So then she had to like divert. Anyways, back to my question. What is something you want to manifest for the future of Rad Illustrates?
Yeah. Something that's been in the back of my mind that I think about pretty often, but I'm kind of like, oh, if I do this, I really do have to think about it, plan it, and like get it really together because it's kind of like a one shot kind of deal. I would like to, at some point, try to get Guinness Book World Records involved and do an event where I draw like maybe 200, I don't know how many to qualify, but on the spot, have a representative and then get in the Guinness World Book.
That's so cool.
Okay. I just got goosebumps. I'm in. Can I help you plan it?
Yeah, because honestly, I've read like about it and it sounds so hard, but I know I can get press. I could do a pop-up in Milwaukee. I could do individual butts. So the speed, like I would just have individuals line up, and drawing one butt at a time is so much faster. And I feel like I don't think anyone's attempted this before. So I could potentially get it at like a 200 mark. Yeah. And I could do that, maybe in 2 hours, 3 hours.
Oh no, Rachel, we go big. You're going to draw 1,000 butts.
I don't know if I want that. I have an injury.
But we have to make it so that the goal, or so that if you get in, that somebody can't like a week later. I'm helping you plan this.
And it's free for people, so it's like obviously that you can just. But then I'm like, oh, is that going to hurt my business because they'll never want to like pay me?
No,
because there's so many people.
Yeah, we need to do this, and I will like feed you while you're drawing. I'll give you water,
straw.
Yeah, like I'll like wipe your forehead down. Okay, we're gonna make this happen.
Jen, add it to your list.
I know. I like to take on lots of things, but I just think it'd be so fun.
Yeah, and I think people would show up because I could get like news involved. I feel like press, it would be like a fun thing, and then like make it like a photo op and have it just be like a fun, weird.
I love it so much. I love it so much. And Megan and I will record live. I'll obviously have to take a break to feed you and water you. But we're doing it. I'm in. Okay. If you're okay with that.
I'm in.
I think you have to apply to Guinness first, right?
Yeah, you have to like, because like they want something legit.
Right.
Yeah. Maybe. Do you have a what is it called? an agent?
I don't. No.
Okay, good. I'll be your agent. And I'll be like, my client. Oh, I'm so excited. Okay, everybody stay tuned. I am adding this to my list because this would be so cool. Okay. Before you draw our butts, can you tell me a little bit about your book, how it came to be? And specifically, I would like to learn more about the astrology part of the book.
Sure, yes. So it's funny because I'm like, ooh, that book gives me a little bit more street cred with Guinness, you know.
Mhm.
I have a published book all about butts. But I honestly, it sounds so made up, and it's really weird because I didn't have a book pitch. Someone found me on TikTok who worked for a publisher, and then they were like, I got an email and they were like, would you want to publish a book like of your work kind of like around butts? And I thought it was fake. And I had like a Zoom call with the publisher and it wasn't fake. And they were like, we pretty much will let you do whatever as long as it's like funny and cute and silly and like a bathroom/coffee table art book. And they were like, but you only have 6 months to make it. And this was going into, you know, summer, which summers tend to be very busy wedding wise, event wise. And I had already pre-booked all of this stuff on top of creating, I think it was like 64 pages. And so, yeah, I made it happen. It was like 2 years ago now, which is a little weird, like time warp thinking, but I didn't really know what the hell I was doing. I just thought, what would people want to look at? Maybe I'm going to pull from some like old illustration ideas I had, put some new stuff in there, like try to, you know, have it just be like a little page flipper, not necessarily like a story or have like a specific narrative, but just be like something fun to look at when you're sitting on the toilet.
Like the good old days.
Yeah. Just like, you know, having a little bit of fun and maybe passing on a little like self-care, love, like, you know, just embracing all butts are good butts, which is like, has been my mantra forever. And that's what the book is called. Cause I have a lot of people coming up to my booth and, oh, my butt's not worthy, or I would never do this because I hate my butt. And I'm like, just rock what you got, right? Like,
Well,
you know,
and I'm gonna call out. We called out dudes earlier. Those are the gals, right? Mostly.
yeah, and a lot of like boomer gals,
Yeah.
like really talk their self-hatred of their body, and I get it. Like we all have baggage. I'm not like acting as though everyone's perfect specimen and we all have to pretend we're perfect. Like, no, we have like issues and that we struggle with and work through, but I do feel like it's not that deep. And so people sometimes think I'm giving them a public colonoscopy, and I'm just drawing your butt in your pants or in your dress. Like, it's so not a big deal. And if anything, it's just like a moment in time. You can put it on your fridge, laugh about it, like, and enjoy the memory of the event or the wedding you were at. And like, that's it.
Yeah.
Right.
Boomers really do not like themselves.
Yeah, we're not afraid to talk about it. And it puts you in kind of a weird spot where I'm like, like, you look good, or like, what, like, or there's something really weird too that I've had boomers, like only boomers, when I have examples of butts on my table, and it's like butts in dresses, butts in like slacks, or butts in jeans or something, and I've had them like hold it up and be like, this is a naked butt, and I'm like, do you see lines? I'm like, this is not naked, but they're like, it's a naked butt. And I'm like, there's pockets drawn. Like, this is Levi's, baby. Like, what are you? It's so weird. I'm like, do you not see?
Well, are they offended by your drawing?
I think so. And I think that they're like, do I have to take my clothes off? And I'm like,
God.
It's funny. All the men are like, I'm going to take my clothes off. And all the women are like, oh my God, do I have to take my clothes off?
yeah, I feel like I'm like a therapist. I'm like, what? Like,
Yeah.
no.
Oh yeah. That's called being a millennial. Like, I feel like our generation is purely here to provide free therapy to our parents.
Yeah.
Anywho's, it's on that note. Do you want to draw our butts?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Let's do it.
I'm gonna record this part screen if that's okay, just because I think it's funny.
Yeah. Like, so we're just going to stand up and turn around and like try to get our, okay.
Recording in progress.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's so loud.
Okay. Who wants to go first? Me? Okay.
Okay.
I'm like, it doesn't matter.
Oh, you have fun jeans on. Okay, turn all the way. Oh, this is great. And then can you back up just a hair? Okay. Okay, can you hold this? Your pockets look great too. Okay, I'm going to get started. I'll let you know as soon as I'm finished, okay?
This is so funny.
Okay, I'm almost finished here. I'm putting on the final details here. Getting the pockets. Okay, let's see. Almost done. I do like a little finishing touch with my Rad stamp. Like a little initial stamp. Okay, I'm getting like the little phrase on your pockets here. Okay, I'm going to stamp it. Okay. There we go.
Oh, look at that ass! It's such a great
That's
butt I
amazing
have.
that you did that so
I love
quickly.
it.
Oh my gosh.
I know, it's so awesome.
Yeah.
I don't wear hard pants for many people before noon, so thank you.
Hard pants. That is hilarious. Okay.
Okay, oh my God, this is so exciting. I'm excited to just look at Megan's butt for a while.
Oh, wow. These are fun pants. Oh, and a belt? A little belt?
Ooh, nice butt.
Yeah, I like that. I like the crop top. Okay,
Yeah.
yep. Ooh, yeah, just like that little peekaboo belt action. Okay, I'm going to get started. I'll let you know as soon as I'm done.
This is so good.
Okay, almost finished here. Okay, Rad stamping it.
Okay, here we go.
Okay.
Nice.
Oh, that's so good.
Thank you.
Hold on. I'm going to take a picture of this screen. This is so good. Oh, Megan's butt looks perfect.
Like when you were doing it, Jen, I wasn't like thinking twice about it.
Yeah.
But then when you're standing there and you're like have people and you know they're just staring at your butt, it is kind of a weird feeling.
Yeah, it's a little, sometimes I've had people do that where they're like, I'm ready. And then all of a sudden they're looking back a little and they're like, are you done yet? Like you can just tell they're just like a little bit like, I'm over this. So it helps.
Yeah. I have this very weird like duality personality where I have like way too much confidence and then crippling lack of self-confidence. And I don't know why, but I was like, yeah, my ass looks fantastic. You can look at it for hours. But then tonight I'll cry myself to sleep because of something crazy. But anywho. Oh, man. Well, this was so much fun. And yeah, I feel like, is there anything else we do know, going back to Megan's question, like you book up quickly. So you're already booking for 2026.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are listening to this and you want to book Rachel, I would, keep that in mind.
Yep. And how do they get a hold of you, Rachel? What's the best way?
Yes, yeah. My website is Rad Illustrates, and I'm also on like Instagram and TikTok at Rad Illustrates. And the info I absolutely need to know in order to consider your wedding or your event is the date, the location, which would be like the city and the venue, and then also estimated guest count. So that way I can gauge how much drawing I'll doing because of the physical nature of it. Then I know how much supplies and how much time to allocate to drawing at your event.
Awesome. And we'll link everything too in the podcast and posts and everything.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This was awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
You have such a great vibe. And I hope that not only will you and I will be working together, obviously for the Guinness Book project, but I want to make sure I want to get you on a wedding because I think that would be so fun.
Totally.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much.
Thanks, Rachel. It was so nice to meet you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Bye.
Thanks so much for joining us again this week. If you have a wedding or travel-related story of your own that you would like us to share in a future episode, send us an email to theplannerspassport@gmail.com.
And be sure to follow us on Instagram at The Planner's Passport, and follow all of our travel and wedding businesses, including We Roam Solo, Dare to Dream Travel, and Dare to Dream Weddings. And please, if you enjoy our show, remember to rate, review, and subscribe from wherever you are listening to this podcast.